Hello, and welcome to the newest episode of Articulate Thoughts. My name is Adriel, and I am here to articulate some thoughts about conscious dance, or more accurately, relating some stories and my experiences related to conscious dance. And today I want to talk about something that's been on my mind because I see there's a lot of people out there that are really looking for inspiration or for motivation, something to get them going to focus on what they need to focus on. And the theme of today is discipline. And it seems to have a few different interpretations and seems to trigger people in different ways. So I have a dictionary here, and I'm going to read a few different definitions that is in this book. So discipline: 1, field of study; 2, training that corrects, molds, or perfects; 3, punishment; and 4, control gained by obedience or training. So, the definition that resonates with me the most is training that corrects, molds, or perfects. And yeah, I mean, there definitely discipline. It could be a form of punishment, but what I'm talking about here is something like you do within yourself, for yourself, and you're doing a consistent and persistent practice on a regular basis. So then you increase your knowledge or your field of study. Now, the thing I would emphasize about discipline over motivation or inspiration is discipline is a consistent thing that no matter what kind of state you're in, you're going to be doing it. If you're always looking for motivation or inspiration, you're looking for something outside of yourself to get you focused on what you need to be focused on. So that's why I find it's a little faulty, because it's like you're relying on something else outside yourself. But discipline's like, okay, I'm going to do it. I made an agreement with myself. I'm going to be true to my word. I'm going to be honorable to and respect on my wishes and what I had intended. I'm going to do it. And a lot of times, what will often happen is once the action starts, then I start to feel better. It's usually the idea of putting in the effort to get in the situation where I'm doing the action that I dread, but once I'm actually in it, I feel better. And in relation to conscious dance, this is the first discipline that I really committed to when I first started living in Calgary 2 years ago. On the first night, I dropped off my stuff in my place and I went to go right away to go find Five Rhythms class. And after that first night, I was just like, there's something here to explore, something to investigate. And I committed to going once every week to this class. And then I would go to other classes from time to time. So, but at least once a week, I was dancing this conscious dance in Five Rhythms group, and that was my consistent commitment. That was the only thing that I was really disciplined in my life for the first like year and a half. And then the instructor had decided to focus on some other things. He had his own side business, so he only did classes once a month. And that's when I really realized that how powerful the discipline was for me, and what it contributed to my life. After that, there wasn't that weekly, steady, stability, foundational environment that was supportive for me, and I fell into a little bit of a chaotic state. And naturally, I grabbed onto things that I was comfortable with, and I tended to indulge more in addictive behaviors. And it just kind of wheelbarrowed, and I started changing things. I changed my living situation, my work situation, and I went back home to Ontario for a couple of weeks where my brother fell into a diabetic coma, and there was a lot of change in my family revolved around that. And when I left, things wasn't settled, and I came back to Calgary just in a very frazzled state of mind. And I wasn't doing the weekly discipline that I had committed to with the conscious dance. And things kind of got worse, and I ended up getting fired from my job. This job that I loved, and it was a job that I'd wanted for a long time, and I virtually dreamed it to life when I was in a psychiatric ward. But that's how sideways I was when I wasn't committed to this discipline of conscious dance. And I'm not saying you have to be committed to conscious dance to gain any benefits, but it just has to be disciplined in something that you're passionate about. And from that time, I actually spoke to my dance instructor, and he had pointed out a couple things and asked a couple questions. And they were really hard questions to answer, and came to the conclusion that it was best for me to abstain from these addictive behaviors. And the two that I focus on is abstaining from watching porn and abstaining from smoking weed. I've been 10 weeks not watching porn and 5 weeks not watching weed up until this point, and it's been really, really great for me. A lot of mental clarity and a lot of focusing on myself as opposed to just numbing out negative emotions and just trying to feel better by not feeling negative emotions. Instead, what I do now is I feel those negative emotions, but then I put them into motion into a more productive behavior. So as of late, been doing more conscious dance, even if it's not with the same group. There's a lot available, so I go to at least 2 or 3 classes a week. I've recommitted myself to yoga, my yoga practice, so I do that twice a week at least. And then I've done some sacred geometry. I cook food for myself more often, and I just have a lot more vitality and a lot more dedication to the things that matter. So I'm really focused on the things that I am doing, and I'm not just kind of dispersed and just kind of doing random things and distracting myself, but I'm really tuning into my feelings and my emotions and letting that guide me to what feels the best. And it's been a really great ride so far. So, yeah, I would say like the thing about committing to conscious dance as a discipline, it's a moving meditation. So it's really encouraging to feel your emotions and expressing them through movement. And that's a very powerful action because it allows you to release and let go. And I find a lot of people that are, when I was in a state of suffering, when I was really hurting, it was when I was attached to emotions and I couldn't let things go. So walking into a room and just being in a meditative state where I'm being introspective, listening to music, seeing how that makes me feel, and then expressing that, it created like a flow of energy that was very healthy for me. So doing that on a consistent basis, being disciplined, being committed, being faithful, even if I'm not feeling like it that day, once I get through the doors and my feet are on the floor and or on the mat or whatever I'm doing that day, um, it moves me to a better place mentally and emotionally. So I would encourage people to just pick something that you want to do better at and just be disciplined to it. Start small, do it just like 1 hour once a week, and then just kind of escalate it instead of just constantly trying to find something outside yourself to motivate you or inspire you into that action. So that's my sharing of this week in relation to conscious dance. And this week I am going to be hitting up 3 different dances. One is tonight, Dance Temple with Kylee Dawn at the W&M Dance Studio at 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. And then I'll be hitting up the Home of Om, who is running Ecstatic Dance with Marie-Clare on Friday night, starting at 8:30, goes till 10. And lastly, but certainly not least, Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. till 12 in the afternoon, Ruth Levin's Occupy Your Body class. That is very, very powerful. Not so much a conscious dance movement type of thing, but it's more focused on authentic movement and using movement to build confidence within yourself and the body. If you try that, please check out the links below and please join me in one of these classes. I'd be very happy to share some time and space with you. And yeah, hope to see you there. And if not, inshallah.